Best time to buy silver. Insider tips from Gold and Silver Stacking Saturdays. Hello, everybody. My name is Rick Fronek. I'm the CEO and founder of Silver and Gold Solutions and work smarter for you here in Galena, Illinois. And I'm really excited to share this presentation with everyone this morning. Today is Saturday, July 19th. And on this live call, we're going to be sharing exactly why now is the best time to buy silver. Now, a lot of people are wondering if did they miss it because of the way silver has been increasing over the last, actually since the beginning of this year, it's really had a really big surge. But what I'm going to share with you today is some insider information that's going to actually help you make that decision for yourself and your family in your future. Because that's been my main goal has always been to provide the best possible insight and behind the scenes information on gold and silver. And in today's topic, we are talking about silver being the best time to buy is now. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to share my PowerPoint here. And with this presentation, I do have a lot of times I do share. This is live, by the way, so it's not something where so any mistakes are going to be showing up here in the recording. So there we go. Okay, so every Saturday we hold this at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. So in order to be eligible for the prize drawings and giveaways each Saturday on the live stream, you do have to go ahead and sign up for it. All you have to do is sign up once, and then you'll just get a link for to access the live Zoom call. You won't have to have a new one every single week. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the like, and be sure to share this with other people too, so they can get this information on how they can take control of their future in 2025 and also have a more secure, safe and sound future for their family. Okay, now this is something that I originally had. Our initial launch was on June 28th, and I always encourage people to go back and watch that presentation because I do a special wealth strategies presentation on that call. And then also on the initial launch, there was a special bonus added at the end that I'm still waiting for somebody to take advantage of. I'm not sure if they thought that it was already somebody already took advantage of it or not, but the offer is still available. So in our weekly calls, we're going to have we're going to talk about the gold and silver markets, but in today specifically, it's silver. We're going to give you additional insight from not only myself, but also some other people that I follow on a regular basis that I've been following for years who give great insight. I have one video clip from Mike Maloney today. It's a special clip that I wanted to share because he shares a lot of solid information that gives a nice overview of what's been happening with the silver market. But then also, every week we'll have a surprise giveaway for attendees. And in today's video or today's presentation, we are going to be giving away a 1-year membership to 7K Metals. And I am, first and foremost, I'm an independent associate of 7K Metals. So, they're probably I shouldn't say probably, they are my most highly recommended silver and gold supplier, and I will share with you why a little bit later in the presentation. But what we're going to talk about today is the impact of the gold and silver ratio. Now, this is very key and very, very important as to why now is an optimal time to start saving in the form of silver. So it is important to know this. Okay, so we're going to have our giveaway at the end, and to qualify for the giveaway, you do have to be on the live stream and present at the time when we do the drawing at the end. Okay, so I see some people jumping in here now, so let's really good. It's good to see some people coming on here. So, what I wanted to share here was just to kind of go over this. Today's July 19th, and right now gold is at 33.51 an ounce, and then silver is at 38.19 an ounce. So when I started doing, this is kind of like a 6-week window here. So if you go back to June 14th, gold was at 34.33 and silver was at 36.34. So you can see right there the big differences. But when you look at it by week, you do see um, the consistencies between the two. Now, gold did have a dip down to 32.75 at the close on June 28th, but then you see now it's back up from July 5th with 33.37, and on July 12th it was 33.57. So we're right in that same window because as everybody knows, the gold and silver market fluctuates, on an hourly basis, minute basis, really. So there are a lot of different things that impact that, but this is good to see because you see the consistency of silver. Okay. So going back to June 14th, just a little bit over a month ago, it was at 36.34. Then it dipped down to 36.02. Then the lowest was 35.99. So you're talking a couple pennies. It's not that big of a deal. But then July 5th, it started rising again. And then July 12th was at 38.45. So just within that week's time, it's still staying above um, that 38 mark. Okay, so what's nice about that, this 38 dollar high is the largest increase in the last 14 years. Okay, gold hasn't hit this high since like 2011. Okay, so this is something important to know. Okay, so what I want to share here is like, so is silver, the time to buy silver is now. Okay, I'm going to share with you the gold to silver ratio and how that impacts everything. And then this is also something that, with some of the information I'm going to share here, it's something that'll give you a different perspective from other people. Okay, so this is actually courtesy. Let me get this thing out of my, whoops. Okay, so this is from, Stefan Gleason. Okay, this is an article that I will share the link with everybody below here on the video when I post it online. Are Russia and other Brics nations now turning to silver? In this article, he's got, to be fair, silver has been due for a rally for quite a while. While it was up 20.5% in 2024, most people felt silver underperformed as it remained well before its all-time highs, even as gold set record after record. Even with those gains, the gold silver ratio grew historically wide at over 100 to 1. Now, signifying that silver was significantly underpriced compared to gold. Silver began to rally last month, and it's likely not a coincidence that the 2025 Russian budget called for an allocation of 51.5 billion rubles to buy precious metals and gemstones. And then plan indicated that silver would be added to the state fund's mix of assets for the first time ever. Okay, so this is something he was trying to just show you what could have possibly caused the rise of silver. Okay, going back to last year. So usually the Brics, correct me if I'm wrong, someone, but I believe the Brics nations usually get together in August, and that's usually when the Brics nations is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and Saudi Arabia. Or, I'm sorry, South Africa, and there's other countries. There's a lot of other countries that are trying to join the Brics nations. Which what it is, they're going to try and come up with another currency, or they are in the process of coming up with another currency that is physically backed by a percentage of gold. Okay. And what they're trying to do is get away from the US dollar. And it's all kind of escalated back. And some of my other previous videos, I did share this information. But it escalated when President Biden put the sanctions on Russia. When the Ukraine-Russian war broke out, that's what made all these other countries have this red flag that, okay, if the United States doesn't like what we're doing, are they going to put sanctions on us? So this is what's kind of created this movement towards trying to come up with another type of currency. Okay, so that's kind of what it's not brand new news with Russia stockpiling silver, but a lot of it with silver, it's got its physical use, okay, as far as its everyday use, whether it's in solar panels, anything electronics has silver in it, your cell phones, everything. So it's an important commodity, but then also silver is also used a lot in military weaponry. Okay, so of course, obviously with the Ukraine-Russian war, that plays an impact too, but also at the same time, just the everyday use of it, there's a high demand for it. And as far as the amount, when I share the clip from Mike Maloney, it kind of gives you a little bit of insight as to why the available amount of silver is dwindling, because they can only mine so much and actually purify so much each year. So I'll show you that in a little bit here. But the silver to gold ratio is important. Like in that article, he was showing that it exceeded 100 to 1. Now this is something where usually gold, skyrockets first, and then silver is slow to catch up, but then eventually it does catch up. And I've shared this several times before. The gold silver ratio right now today is at a little over 87 to 1. Okay. And I'll show that in another chart. But so what, Usually the average gold silver ratio in the modern era has generally ranged between 40 to 1 and 60 to 1. When the ratio widens far beyond that range, as it has in recent years, it typically returns toward that mean. So right now, with us being at around 87 to 1, there's still that movement um for silver to catch up to gold. And like right now, gold is hit its all-time highs and everything this year, and it's something where gold is spiked, and now it's kind of moving horizontally across the chart. Okay, so and that's another thing where a lot of the people that I've been listening to, specifically like Mike Maloney from goldsilver.com, and then also Robert Kiyosaki, Jim Rickards, and Andy Schekman. These are gentlemen that I listen to on a regular basis. If you want to check out their YouTube channels, I would highly encourage you to do that as well. But a lot of them are predicting that's, gold, as well as some other companies are predicting that gold's going to hit the $4,000 mark this year. Okay, so that's something that's going to be kind of exciting to watch to see if it does happen. But I'm sure right now we're not going to see. I mean, anything's possible, but I don't, in my professional opinion and everything that I've seen and heard and listened to and the people that I follow and the research that I've done, I don't think it's ever going to go below 3,000 again. It would be require like a disaster. Okay, so this is when I want to share this video with Mike. This is from about a week ago. I believe it was on 2 Fridays ago. And with this, he's predicting this slingshot move for silver. Now he's going to kind of back it up here with a little information. But at the start of this clip, he's give you a little preface of as far as what he was talking about. He was talking about a presentation that he gave, and that what he was shown was that if you took these different factors from, you'll see a list of uh, different commodities and things, about if you took that into consideration with the price of inflation, what the equivalent of silver would be for that commodity. Okay, so let's go ahead and listen to this. It's a couple minute play, but let's go ahead and watch this. Whoops. Like I said, this is like I said, this is okay. So like I said, this is live, so it's not edited. This is exactly how I'm going to put it on YouTube. So he's talking about all this stuff here. Like these are a list of the commodities and everything, and what he's comparing it to, saying what the equivalent to silver would be with the cost of inflation. Okay. Is $921 per ounce. I'm not saying it's going there. What I'm saying is that $38 is still an absurdly low price. This is not the top, in my opinion. Now, let's take a look at the supply demand. This is part of the update still. What you just saw was part of the presentation at Investor Summit at Sea. I inserted this just this evening. So, supply demand, between the black bars, you've got total supply, and then 2/3 the way down, total demand. You take the supply minus the demand, and you get the market balance. And for 5 years, there's been a deficit. 70, minus 79 million ounces, minus, basically, I'm going to round 250 million ounces, minus 200 million ounces, minus 150 million ounces, minus 118 million ounces is the projection for 2025. But then you go down here, and there's the market balance less exchange traded products. So people taking silver off the market in exchange traded products. And instead of 5 years of deficits, you end up with 7 years of deficits. And it's far greater. So you've got minus 73 million ounces, 286 million ounces, 144, 132, 163, 210, and then it's estimated forecast of 187.6 for 2025. Boy, is this going to be wrong. This incorporates exchange traded products, and as we speak, silver. The silver slingshot has begun, and as it progresses, more and more people are going to rush into this, and that number will probably end up closer to 300 million ounces. What is
when you've got a supply and demand issue, what puts them back into balance? Price. It's the only thing that puts them back into balance. We got 7 years here of deficit. It's got to go back into balance somehow. The only thing that resolves that is price, but there's going to be a huge overshoot. Price increases production, but this is coming out of mines that take years to get into production. And so, as demand increases, price has to rise, and it has to rise far further than the natural supply demand balance that would occur if silver could come to market instantly, but it can't. And so, this is from April 17th. The Happy Hawaiian said, and it's been in videos, how much silver exists in the ground compared to gold? Oh, there's roughly 19 ounces of silver for each ounce of gold in the Earth's crust.
This is good
So
general
how much
information to
silver do
know.
they mine each year compared to gold? Well, they mine about 7 ounces of silver for each ounce of gold that they mine. So, how much silver is available in stockpiles? Well, of those 7 ounces of silver that they mine for each ounce of gold, we use most of it up. It's about 60% or more gets used up in electronics, in mirrors, in superconductors. It's used everywhere. It's the second most useful commodity known to man, the first being oil. So how much is available in stockpiles? Well, because we used up so much, there's about 3 ounces of silver available for each ounce of gold that exists above ground. So what's the price of gold compared to silver? 102 to 1, 102 ounces of silver to equal the value of 1 ounce of gold. That was in April. Today, this is at about, it's just below 88, I believe. So about 90. I in well, let's go. Okay, cool. Uh, so which one do you buy? Now this chart is the average ratio of gold to silver ratio going back to 1687, and it's from an old article from goldsilver.com. And you can see during the pandemic, it hit 123.5 there. Now, when we made this chart, I had them this is all annual data. So we had to insert the day that in the spreadsheet that generates this, the day that silver was peaking at 123.5. But what they didn't do was insert the day where the gold silver ratio bottomed in 2011, the most recent bottom there. This says 42. It actually bottomed down at 30. And so if you take we're at about 90, and it's just absolutely, in my opinion, destined for below 30. I think that range where it's down at 20, we should put it in at least one of those. But
So he's referring when he's saying the bottom at 30, he's saying that the gold to silver ratio is going to, he's predicting that it could bottom at 30 to 1 opposed to where we're at now, which is 87 to 1.
if it doesn't, at 30, you're still with silver. You're getting 3 times the performance of gold. So you could buy silver today and then swap it for gold when it hits 30, and you get 3 times more gold than you paid for. So,
Okay, so that's important to know. So, that's a tip that he's doing. Like I'll have the links right there on the screen, but I'll have this below the video as well. But he's talking about earlier how, back when COVID hit and even going back prior to that, he was stockpiling silver. And so basically what he's doing is, when silver hits that range, whether it gets back to, 40 to 1, 60 to 1, or what he's saying that he's predicting that it might hit to 30 to 1. That's when you take the silver and convert it to gold because you've made your profits with silver and then you're able to buy more gold because the price of silver is up. Okay, so that's something that I highly encourage people to, first off, do your
well, you
due,
take
whoops, do your due diligence on everything that I'm sharing and what you actually hear and see online. But um, my biggest point or two is don't always go by what the mainstream media is telling you because they're not giving you the behind the scenes, the mainstream media is what the government tells them to share. Okay, it's so they're gonna give you bits and pieces, and by the time they start really talking about gold and silver and the best way to go about doing it, it may be too late. But it's like in this case here, there's so much massive potential for silver right now, and we're seeing the increases from the beginning of this year, even going back to last year. Silver is on that steady rise. Okay, so like I said, the gold is at 33.51, silver is at 38.19. So that means that it would take 87 and three-quarter ounces of silver to equal 1 ounce of gold. So if you go back from this is silver price chart from this year, okay, and this is a courtesy of exchange rates, exchange rates.org. So you go from January when you're in the around the 28 some dollar range till now in July, so you're up over 38. So even in this 6 months or 7 month span here, we're up over $10 an ounce for the year, which is actually huge, okay? And this here now, Mike is always. I learned about the cup and handle thing with about gold and silver through Mike Maloney at so I want to give a shout out to him, and I really appreciate him sharing that information. But if you go over the historical charts, whether you're comparing gold or silver, those two have this cup and handle pattern where the usually, like in this case here, you're going from 2005 to 2025. Well, here's this giant cup forming, and here's the handle. So usually what happens is once the handle is established, that's when you see the spike, okay, and then it obviously creates another cup. But he also, I don't have the chart on here, and I apologize, I don't. But if you go back to the 1970s, you're looking, you see like a huge 45-year cup and handle pattern with silver. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. Okay, so here to go back to 2011 with the highest that silver was ever closed at. Okay, and then now we're getting back up to it. So we're at the high around 48, and this according to this chart on silverprice.org, they hit it at 38.05. Okay. Yeah, if you go to different sites, they're going to show you different things, but it's all within a few, a dime or a quarter or something. But in this case here, this is what's important to see is the overall cup and handle thing, that pattern that's forming. And it's, if you go over the history of precious metals, you'll see that throughout the course of time. So what's nice when you go to some of these sites is that they show you the the daily increase. They also show you the 30-day, the 6 month, and then the 1 year, and then all the way up to 20 years. So like in this case here, if you would have bought gold back in 2005, you're looking at a 446% increase. Okay. Even this year with the 6 month rolling average, it's at 20, almost 25%. And then the 1 year, it's at 30%. So this is really nice to see. So I encourage people, when you're doing your due diligence, to go ahead and look at this information, because it is going to help you make a more sound decision. Okay. So I wanted to share that with everybody because the gold silver ratio is important to know, because if you're on the fence and you're just not sure about gold and silver, this is some information that really is, I mean, the historical data does not lie. Okay. And it's something that, history does repeat itself. Okay. So it's something that, in this case here, when it comes to precious metals, it is a sound investment. Okay. I am not an investment broker or an advisor. So if you do need additional insight, I suggest if you have a financial advisor, I suggest consult them, him or her. But if they're not mentioning gold or silver at all, uh, I probably wouldn't. I would find somebody else, because they're not looking out for your best interests. Okay. And that's where I've said it many times before on my presentations, that they're not doing you justice if they're not, um, talking to you about precious metals and what it can do for yourself and your family and your future. Okay. Because, with silver and gold, it is a long-term gain. But like here in this case here, like what Mike was referring to, and what I've talked about before too, is if you are able to save in, you're going to be able to save or purchase more, or save in the form of silver more now opposed to gold. But then when you hit that gold silver ratio comes back down to normal, that's when you go ahead and flip it into gold. Okay, that's just an idea, just a tip, something that you might want to consider. And that's where the one thing a lot of people are ask me, I get the question all the time, what would you do or who would you buy from? And I am going to say, because I am an independent associate, so have the disclaimer and everything below this video as well. But I am an independent associate of 7K. And with 7K, they are now available in 41 different countries. Okay. So this is something that they were formed back in 2016, and their idea was their concept and the reason why they began their business was to put gold and silver in the hands of the average everyday person, where you wouldn't have to go through somebody to do it for you, where you could handle things on your own and just do it on your computer or your phone and be able to buy in incremental amounts. And they do have something that is totally unique that these are the 41 countries here. Um, they do have something that's totally unique, and I do have a wealth strategies presentation that I recorded this morning. So I'll go ahead and put that link at the end of this video as well for you to watch. But I highly encourage you to watch it. It's like a 9-minute presentation. It's a recorded presentation, and it talks about the value of precious metals real quick, and then also how you can save if you have a couple dollars at a time each week or something. If you wanted to put it into silver and gold, you could do that. But then also at the same time, if you wanted to convert it back to your currency, your country's fiat currency, you could do that with a click of a mouse and get it at the best buyback prices available online. So it's something that no other company offers that to their customers or their clients. And that's where 7K doesn't do it. Pardon me. 7K doesn't do a lot of marketing because they want they put that into the hands of the people that are members and the associates to do that for them. So that's kind of explaining the deal. So I highly encourage you to watch that video when it comes up at the end of this video as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is, and just real quick, if anybody I'll have the link for 7K below if you want to find out more information. If you do decide to make that decision for yourself and your family, I do have as a bonus, I have it on the screen here. If you go through the link that I share, then you would get this is from me personally, you would get a 1 ounce silver Indian head buffalo coin, silver dollar, and then you'd have a 1 ounce copper coin in it because copper is another precious metal. It's not as sexy and glamorous as gold and silver. But then also the Silver and Gold Solutions Team Coffee mug, which I have one of those right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I've got let's see, I've got 5 people that are still on here. I see Roger's on here again, Tammy, Tom, Kimberly, and CC. I'm not sure who that is. So what I want to do here is, like I said, you have to be on the live call to be a part to get part of the prize. So today we're giving away a 1-year membership to 7K, which is a $149 value, but with you adding on the bonus that I'm giving here with the mug, the silver, and the copper, that's another $65 value. So you're talking over a $200 value. So for the winner for this week, I always like to give something out. I'm not going to be doing this forever, but this is something I do want to make just do something nice for somebody. Okay. And pay it forward. Okay. So who do we have here? Tom. Tom, go ahead and send me an email at rick@silverandgoldsolutions.org. Also put your phone number or a way for me to text you or get in touch with you. And so I can get your mailing address. And also I will explain to you how that works. So with the 7K membership, what I would have you do is go ahead and create your membership. So you're going to have to pay for it up front. But as soon as you create your membership, they'll send you an acknowledgement. And then I will also see that in my back office as well. But they'll send you an acknowledgement. Just forward me a copy of that, and then I will instantly PayPal the money over to you. If you're not able to use PayPal or something, let me know and we can work out something else. But that's how we do it as far as the free membership. But so it's like you would go ahead and pay it forward up front, and then I would instantly PayPal it over to you so you have the money back in your hands right away. And then I would get the special gift and everything out in the mail to you. So I want to thank everybody for taking the time to spend your Saturday morning with me. I enjoyed sharing this presentation with everybody. And like I said, if there's a specific topic or something that you would like me to discuss moving forward, just go ahead and put that in the comments below and below this video on YouTube and Rumble. And then also you see me posted online on my social media posts or on our silverandgoldsolutions.org website or Work Smarter for You website, just go ahead and comment and let me know what you would like what topic you would like me to discuss. But I'm looking forward to sharing this information. And like every Saturday, it's going to be something different. Like today, I just wanted to share the importance of the gold silver ratio and why there is an impact right now where there's silver is going to really be something that's going to take off this year. Okay. So it's like even when it's probably going to, at some point, from what I'm seeing and what I'm understanding, it should probably be hitting close to 50 at some point this year. Okay. Will it break through that $50 mark? Nobody knows, but there is going to be that move coming up. So I hope everybody got some great insight from this video and the live stream here. So, go ahead and make sure you hit this like and subscribe button so you can make sure that you get all the recordings as I have them coming out moving forward. And like I said, once you sign up, you're just going to I'll send you an email with one link and you can save that link and that'll allow you to join every single week on the live call and have a chance to win some cool prizes. Okay. So hope everybody has a great weekend and I will talk to everybody again soon. And I really do appreciate your time. So, thank you very much for your time, and we will talk to everybody again soon. Okay, take care. Bye.